I'm Stephanie, and this is Snowdome of the Day. Today's Snowdomes are a bit of a situation. Whew, four that are the same but different. First, we visit Washington. Is it Washington State or Washington, D.C.? I think it's probably Washington. Next, we visit Panama City Beach. Panama City Beach has a happy swimming fish, but a little bit of sludge near the front, but it's holding on. Next we visit, this is where the trouble starts. Doesn't it always when you visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we have a down fish, people. Down fish. Hopefully it's just taking a nice Sunday afternoon nap, maybe after, perhaps it had a meal of calabash shrimp. Oof, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, down fish. Then we have perhaps a tragedy, Corpus Christi, Texas. This fish is alert, but there is a chunk missing from the base. This is probably related to an unfortunate drop involving a coveted, rare Corpus Christi plastic bottle. We'll have to wait for that story until another time. But trust me, it was tragic and it had an accompanying noise. There's some thought that this Snowdome was in the same bag. You can see the chunk from the bottom, and there is, there's a crack in the bottom, which means that this Snowdome does in fact leak. I'd like to talk about this Snowdome with the leaky bottom, the chip out of its base, and its friend, the fish that we know it's not dead because it's not floating at the top of the Snowdome, but it does seem to need a nap. You know, it's tough out there. Sometimes we get dropped. And the person who drops you doesn't mean to do it necessarily. And perhaps you survive that drop, which is great. It's good. The point is, we learn in the scriptures today, the third Sunday of Lent. Let me tell you about those scriptures, if you haven't already been to church yet. Jesus is all mad in the temple, hollering at everybody. And he's like, look, you are selling tribute for people to use as an offering to God when they are desperate, trying to make their prayers stick because they want to help their loved ones. And Jesus says, why would you do that when you know that you cannot make a deal with God? You cannot. You cannot make a deal with God because God's love is for everyone all the time. And there is a lot of it out there. Like so much love, you can't quantify it. And you certainly need waste no time making a deal for it. So, thinking back to my four little fishy friends, clearly inanimate objects, clearly made out of plastic. There's room on the shelf, or in our case, the Rubbermaid tub, for all of those fishies, whether or not they need a nap, whether or not we take the plug out and drain the water so they don't make a mess. You know, let's help each other succeed here. And we certainly don't need to fight over whether it's Washington or Washington, D.C. We don't need to argue over whether it's more fun to visit Panama City or Myrtle Beach. It's all fun. When the time comes, we will go to those places. It'll be great because there's enough love for everybody. This could be a hard week, but it is a week, and I give thanks for that. I'll be recording, the first piano side of the new year. We will have done piano side worship for a whole year this week. And I thought about being dramatically sad, but then I remembered it's been a real gift to launch a new worship service in a pandemic. And it's been a real gift to discover that we can reach our usual people and new people in that way. And that worship service is now part of what we do at St. Paul. So it's more of a reason to celebrate than a reason to mourn. It's just weird that way. So to think about these pandemic anniversaries, and I think a lot of people are having those anniversaries now. I'm gonna try to live in a place where I remember where we find our hope, which isn't in the cracks or the comparisons, but in the new things that we find, and the knowledge that God's love is so great it can be overwhelming, even when we don't expect it to be, even when we don't see it. And we don't need to make a deal with God because God's already made a promise to us. I give thanks for this good news. Amen.